Look, we're just riffing here with Westlife, everybody. Oh my goodness, good afternoon, guys. We've got Cian and Mark and Nikki and Shane not well today, right?
No, he's not feeling too great. We've had a bit of a tough schedule recently, and he's the first one to fall. But I think a couple of us have started to show similar signs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so you'll have it as well.
Thanks.
And you guys.
Oh, great. Thanks very much.
And we've only got one mic, so we're all huddled in together. I'm thinking to myself, I might just back off.
Cian, Mark, Nikki, and of course Shane, who's not here, Westlife. They announced their return just over a year ago in October 2018, promising live shows and new music. Having already done an extensive tour this year, they released their new album Spectrum in the middle of this month, and it's now the 8th #1 UK album of their career, and we applaud you. Yeah. I mean, when you were coming back, did you think, let's throw this to Mark, did you think it would be okay?
I think there was a certain amount of, with social media, we felt that the fans were definitely there for us through the non-Westlife years. So we knew that there was an amount of them that would be there, but we didn't realise just how much. We kind of thought, well, the core fans might come, but that might sell one arena per city. But thankfully, the general public engaged, and we had like 2-3 arenas per city.
Those anthems are just in our heads forever, aren't they? Really? And must be in your heads forever, which is great. What about yourself then? Did you feel, Cian, that it would all be okay once you got back together? And was the chemistry there? Because you all stayed in contact anyway.
I think the big thing about us as a band the first time around was that we were genuinely friends.
Yeah.
We didn't actually fall out. We didn't dislike each other. We just all felt at the time when we did break up that it was the right thing to do because we had done it for such a long period of our lives and we really had done nothing else in our lives. And I think for our own individuality and really for Westlife, the name of the band as well, it was a good thing to do what we did back in 2012. And then the first day we all got back in a room together, the spark was there straight away. Myself and Shane started the conversation one night and straight away we're back in the band. We were in our minds, you know, we were living that whole dream again.
You know, I didn't actually genuinely miss travelling, and you missed the lads, you missed the nights out, you missed the
camaraderie.
You missed the concerts, and they were always epic. And we were all doing our own thing, and I was on radio in Ireland, and Cian obviously had won the Jungle Market, a couple of solo albums, and we all were very happy in what we were doing. I remember going to see Coldplay though, at Manchester City Stadium. That was on Soccer Raid, and we all went. Both squads had gone to see the show, and I remember just thinking, we used to do this, not what Chris Martin was doing, but we used to be out there in front of all these people singing songs that the people loved, let's say, that were at our show, and thinking, we need to do this again at some point. Yeah.
Was it always at the back of all of your minds that, one day we will do it again?
I think in my mind it was. I was hopeful that we would.
What eventually happened was that we all started to miss it. Nikki said earlier that we didn't miss the flying around and the this and the that and the other. And it came to a point where we forgot about the stuff we didn't enjoy so much, and we only started remembering the positive stuff. The various different things we were doing in our solo kind of lives just sort of subsided at the right time, so we were all kind of had a blank canvas for 2019, and it just all kind of came together nicely, you know.
The stars realigned.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you about the tour. This is Westlife 2020 tour dates, June of next year. Norwich, Carrow Road on June 19th, and then on to the 21st, it's Peterborough Stadium there, and Cardiff, 26th of June 2020. Falkirk Stadium, Grangemouth on 27th of June. 28th, Inverness, Caledonian Stadium, and then in July, on to Southampton, Plymouth, Colwyn Bay, Hull for Westlife, Colchester, Gloucester, Leicester, Canterbury, Chester Street, and then in August of next year, London, and then Cork, the Park, 2 gigs there.
That was like listening to a race, horse race.
It was for me. It was like the football results on BBC on a Saturday at 10 to 5. It was like Inverness, Caledonian Thistle 0,
Westlife
1.
Well, that's enough football scores. Let's take a break and come back and talk extensively about the new album. It's called Spectrum. It's currently #1 in the UK, and here comes a couple of tracks. We'll be back with Westlife in just a moment. Here with Cian and Mark and Nikki from Westlife. And that's 2 tracks from their latest album, Spectrum, both of them co-written for you by Ed Sheeran. Interesting thing, I mean, there's, 4 or 5 songs on the album, and you can tell that at least 3 or 4 of them are his songs, but you can also tell it's you.
Yeah, we didn't want the songs to just sound like us doing Ed Sheeran.
No.
These songs, the songwriting, you've all grown up. and your audience has grown up. So what you have to sing about resonates with everyone.
Yeah, I think one of our songs at the moment, My Blood, absolutely is completely down that road, which is a song about parenting and a song about being a kid and kind of assuring your young children that things are going to be all right for many reasons.
I want to talk about Steve Mack because he helps
Of course, yeah,
on the
with pleasure.
songs.
And in fact, we don't really talk about him in depth enough.
Steve is one of these people who's kind of like behind the scenes magician, if you want to call it that way. Before Simon Cowell became what he is on TV nowadays, he was one of these guys who sat in an office and was a genius. Steve is one of these guys who sits in a studio and is an absolute genius. I mean, forget about Westlife for a second, but if you take all the stuff that he's done away from Westlife, even in the last 5 or 6 years, I mean, it's probably half your playlist.
Give us an example, Cian, of his genius.
Well, I mean, Pink, for example, that big song, What About Us? You know, Ed Sheeran, Shape of You.
Yeah.
Lots of Little Mix songs.
Cardi B, I think.
Cardi B, Liam Payne.
The Years and Years song recently.
Yeah, the list is endless. I mean, any big pop artist, if you're lucky enough to get Steve Mack working with you, the likelihood is you'll probably come out with a hit song.
He's done all the Clean Bandit stuff as well. You know, and also I have to mention that James Bay has written 2 songs on there as well.
Yeah.
And Ryan Tedder as well. We've got a great team outside the Ed Sheeran thing as well.
What was amazing was, so we're on our sabbatical, we're all doing our own stuff and we don't know if we're going to come back. We're all kind of sporadically in touch, and Ed Sheeran obviously he's quite considerably younger than we are, and Ed grew up
a couple of years
as a Westlife fan, and I'd heard Ed on radio in Dublin. I was driving my car one day and Ed did a version of Flying Without Wings and changed the lyrics, and he sang something like From My Unbreakable Westlife CD, which was the name of our greatest hits. Here's the biggest star in the world currently. I'm going, he knows the name of the album, he's singing Flying Without Wings. And then I read in interviews he'd said he loved Westlife and he learned how to play the guitar. Anyway, skip ahead, when we decided to come back, we got back in with Steve Mack. Steve had obviously been working with Ed, and Ed had written songs for Westlife, and we said at the time...
Off his own bat, without...
Yeah, well, he was writing Shape of You and stuff for his own album, and
Right.
then decided to write some... And I think it was probably a case of Ed saying to Steve, you're the guy responsible for Flying Without Wings, for World of Our Own.
Right.
Let's write a Westlife song back in the day. And that's where Better Man, Hello My Love, Dynamite, My Blood on this album here were born. So it was like, as Cian said earlier, the stars started to align, and when we were getting back together, not knowing this yet, had said, lads, we need Ed Sheeran involved. Little did we know, Ed had already penned Westlife style songs.
Wow.
So it was kind of one of those, as we said, stars aligning.
So the plan is, from here on in, you're promoting the album, you're touring, and what about going back to America? Give America another hit.
You know, it's weird. It was something that we never anticipated. We stopped thinking about America professionally or musically a long time ago.
Yeah.
We've actually been getting offers to do gigs in America, you know.
Not surprised.
We did actually kind of sell 250,000 albums the time we did release an album there.
Swear It Again was number 2, actually, yeah.
There's a huge Irish contingency in America, and also we're lucky enough to have a big following in Asia as well, and a lot of Asian people that have relocated to the States. So
Yeah.
it's not like all the people would be American going to the concerts, but it's all in America and Canada as well. So it's something that we're considering if we can squeeze it in somewhere.
I think a bucket list is something that we talked about, and we're quite ambitious. So Wembley Stadium next August is one of those that we discussed immediately. With the success when it started to happen, surprised everybody, including us. And we were like, well, if it's this hot, could we stretch to Wembley Stadium? And that's where America comes in. It's like, but one day we'd love to, and even if it's just 3 or 4 gigs at a certain time of the year, St. Patrick's Day stands out that we could
There you
go
go.
over.
There
That
you
type
go.
of stuff. So look, life is different now. We can kind of pick and choose and go, we'd love to try that and see if it could come
What
up.
about Carnegie Hall, St. Patrick's Day?
Opera album.
Yes. Westlife, the new album Spectrum is out now. You can see them on their Stadiums in the Summer tour during June, July and August next year. And yes, you heard Cian and Mark and Nikki. Give Shane our very best. Westlife, everybody!
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Thank you very much.
Listen to more podcasts from Radio 2 by downloading the BBC Sounds app.